and welcome to the Camila Reyes Podcast, where we teach you how to build businesses that love you back. To show you what really goes behind the scenes of building a business, a service-based business, today I have Erin with me. Hi, Erin.
Hello.
We will dive in, but as always, tune in, send this over to somebody that will benefit from it, and we'll get started. Okay, so you have recently opened up a clinic. How's that experience been going? Why a clinic? Why did you become a chiro? Spill the tea. Tell us all about it. Yes.
Well, I wasn't always on the path to being a chiropractor. I have a business degree as my undergrad, so that's where I started and just wasn't feeling very fulfilled with corporate life and knew I wanted to help people in some sense. I always said, I just want to go home at the end of the day and feel like I helped somebody that day as opposed to making somebody else a ton of money. So that's what pushed me into healthcare. I started working at a multidisciplinary health clinic. We had chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, acupuncture, you name it, Pilates, personal trainer, everything was there. And I was like, this is the Mecca. This is so rad. I want this one day. I want this. So went to chiropractic school, started my business right out of school, which was not planned.
Right.
But I'm Canadian. I live in the US, visa purposes, whatever. Started the business right away and just was growing slowly on my own, but knew that if I was going to take that leap towards a multidisciplinary clinic, I needed more space. So the space came available. I found it. I built out the clinic, and now I have this multidisciplinary clinic.
Yes.
That has chiropractic, massage, physical therapy. We have assisted stretch. I mean, zooming out, it's grown a lot in a small amount of time, we're there. We have the multi-disciplines for sure. So that's kind of what led me into it. And once I left the corporate world, I was just like, I can't have somebody telling me how much vacation I can take. I want to set my own schedule. And so I just couldn't, it's such a grind starting your own thing, but I couldn't imagine, not being my own boss anymore.
Yeah. And I think a big part of what we work on is so you can have the lifestyle that you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such an underrated thing, but as a woman, I feel like we aren't just meant to work. That's not really life. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that we're able to really create a business model that works with the things that are important to you, it's something that I see it's really valuable. And then I have a further question that I want to ask. So your why a multidisciplinary clinic instead of just
chiropractic?
Mm-hmm. What's the thing that drove you to being like, this is what I think it is better? Is it because it's more complete? What was it that drove you to that business model?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I didn't know going into chiropractic school that the chiropractic profession itself actually has this weird stigma on it. It took me probably halfway getting through my doctorate that I was like, there's this weird, you talk to people on the street and they either love the chiropractor or they hate them. Yeah. You love them. Or people are like, oh, that's so scary. I'll never try that.
Right.
Yada, yada, yada. And I was like, what has happened in the past that has made people be so polarized towards this profession? Because in my experience growing up, I only saw 2 chiropractors in my life growing up, and it's because I had so many injuries all the time.
Right.
And they were phenomenal. And they were treating me how I now treat. And so that was my only vision of chiropractic.
Yes.
So I guess once I got into school and I realized that there's all these, and no shade to them whatsoever. I really think that everybody has a place in this profession. But for me, I was like the in and out 5-minute, don't even really know your patient's name. There's no relationship. There's no rapport. It's the same, 7 adjustments every time. I can't tell you how many patients come into my office and they're like, I really liked my chiropractor, but I went in, it was really fast. They did the same thing all the time. Even if I had a new complaint, it was just the same treatment.
Right.
And so mine, I was just I said, okay, I really got to build a clinic that's going to make people feel super comfortable, heard, seen. And then to add to that, I moved to the United States where the healthcare system here is so different than in Canada.
Yes.
And so then I was now learning really how much people slip through the cracks of the healthcare system here, especially when it comes to pain and chronic pain, like musculoskeletal pain.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I only have, 1 degree and I can only stay in my lane. But when it comes to that, like I can just see how, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows somebody who lives in chronic pain and they're miserable. Or they're just like, this is my life. This is how it's going to be. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be like that. And there are so many alternative routes to healthcare. And then we have all this stigma on chiropractors. And yet I can tell you a million stories about chiropractors saving lives, which sounds very extreme, but it's like a chiropractor caught that somebody was septic or whatever. And so I don't know. I think for me, it was just my chiropractors growing up really like seen and heard me. They were both males, which, surprises some people that I connected with them like that, but they were just like the most empathetic humans, and I was just like, I can do that for somebody, That's and right. I do think too, as a people facing service, there is a certain element of like personality that comes into it, and being an extrovert and somebody who loves to talk to people all day.
That's you.
I was like, like I'm a yapper. So I'm like, I need to yap to people all day, not like sit behind the desk and click away on Excel. Like that was just like killing my soul. Which for some people it's great, but for me I needed, and then to be able to not only talk to people every day, but have my hands on them and making them feel better. And like, it's so crazy once you have this connection with people and they trust you to put your hands on them. And then the stuff that comes out on the table. Like I always joke that I'm part chiropractor and I'm part therapist.
100%. Well, that's how I feel, right?
So much stuff comes out on the table.
Which is, I think, I love your why, because it's really addressing the core thing, which is chronic pain, right? And you and I were talking about this earlier, but like the reason why I love working with most, health and wellness like businesses is because I've seen the change that these things have done radically in my life. And so I'm like, wait, this isn't just like a fun business. Like I understand this changing people's lives, like their well-being, right? When you're not healthy, it's a whole nother ballgame, right? You can't work, you can't like focus, you can't like, your life is now hindered by this one, either injury or pain. And when everything's going smooth, then you don't really think about it. But when you're in chronic pain, when that's your reality, it's so different, and I mean, for me, I think, there was a point in my life where I was so stressed that my back was in pain like 24/7. Right. So my back, and I was like seeing a chiro, and then not just that, but like I was working with somebody to help me with like my eating. I was working with someone, like I was going to therapy, like and it was just chronic stress. Right. That nothing was working, and seeing how it literally was affecting every single area of my life. Right. And it's like, when I was in so much pain, I remember just going to like the regular route, right? Like, I mean, I love doctors, we need them, right?
Course,
but I think it's a different type of treatment, but going, and I remember they were like, okay, we're just going to put you on this much medicine, and and I was like, no way am I going to be on, it was like, I kid you not, I think it was like, painkillers. And I was like, I don't want painkillers. I mean, for some people that might be the route, but for me, I was like, if I go on this, painkillers are not the best, right? And so I wanted a different route, and I wanted something that was going to help me, because the painkillers were just going to be this like Band-Aid in the surface, right? But the core of it was, okay, what was actually happening? Why was I so stressed out?
And chronic stress is just it's rampant these days. Everybody is so stressed out.
Yes.
And nobody teaches you how to where are our health and wellness classes in school teaching us like, hey, this is how your nervous system works. Like when you are so stressed out, these are the things you need to do to calm it down.
Regulate it.
Yeah.
And, and then I actually was thinking about this, how like I was so stressed because I was in corporate, because I was a consultant and I was working like crazy hours, right? Yeah. And all I did was work. That's all I was doing. Mm-hmm. And now, like being like a business coach, I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. Like bringing life back into, like these businesses that you guys are running, but creating it in a way where the model, it's like, my purpose is not for you to burn out, right? It's like, how do we take away so much of that overwhelm? How do we put structure in place where you're getting your life back and we're bringing, profits into it?
Yeah.
Because it's like, so I'm thankful that I went through that journey because I actually know, right?
Yeah.
And when we're talking about your guys' business, right? And like chiro, like I know the importance of it. I know the importance of a treatment plan, like a multidisciplinary clinic, right? It's a big why, and it addresses the core of things.
Yeah, and I mean, back to your question about why multidisciplinary, it's, I think one of the biggest pitfalls we have in healthcare is doctors or people thinking that like we can cure everything. And like we all have a specialty. Like we go to doctorate school to be a chiropractor. We are like musculoskeletal specialists, but I know where my expertise ends and where my physical therapist starts.
Yes.
Or where this is the job for a massage therapist to get in there. Like I do a ton of soft tissue work, but it's, what I'm doing in a 30-minute chiropractic session is not the same as laying on a table for an hour and getting, a sports massage or fire cupping or whatever.
Yeah.
I have people who come in all the time with really bad knees and they end up at the chiro, which I think is phenomenal. And I know so many chiropractors who are amazing at treating knees. It's just not my specialty. Right. I'm not great at it. So I hired a physical therapist who's phenomenal with knees, shoulders, hips, like the things that maybe I'm not as good at. Like we kind of all know where our expertise lies. And I think why my clinic works so cohesively is everybody sort of knows their strengths and everybody knows when to cross refer.
Yes.
And there's a lot of this, head butting, not just in, PT versus chiro, but just healthcare as a whole. It's like if we could, this is something that I'm always thinking about. I'm like, how do we get in front of the MDs to convince them? And we got some great MDs out there who are like, chiropractor, you got low back pain, chiropractor or PT, but they're not all like that, like their first mode of treatment to them is, your back hurts. Yeah, here's a painkiller, which like is fine. It works for some people. I get it. And they're doing their job. They're doing what they are trained to do. But I think if we all sort of understood our specialties a little bit better, and that's this is a whole rabbit hole. Yes. Because that's just healthcare system and how it works here. Yeah. And then, I mean, don't even get me down the insurance rabbit hole, right? Yeah. Because that's just a whole other beast. Yeah. So my practice is cash based. Yeah. When I say cash based, it doesn't mean like physical cash. It just means that we don't direct bill to any insurance companies. So I'm not in contract with any insurance companies. So we can provide certain bills for people to take to try and get reimbursed from their insurance company, but we don't do the direct billing. Yeah. Because that is a whole other ballgame for the business. Not only you need a biller and a clearinghouse and, all these things, but the way that insurance works in the United States is
it doesn't pay you guys.
It's not in favor of the provider. Yeah.
Like, okay, when we say like it's not in favor, when you showed, I remember you shared, is like someone came in and they gave you 14 cents. Yeah. For that session. Yeah. So, and just if people don't understand kind of how this works, it's that, I'll talk in chiropractic because that's where my expertise lies, but you get in contract with an insurance company and you essentially sign off saying, I will only charge my patient their copay. Nothing else. So the patient might come in, pay their $10, then I submit to insurance. Yeah. Well, the insurance company, which not all of them have doctors behind those people who are making these decisions, they decide what your service is worth that day. Yeah. And 1 week it could be $20 and the next week it could be $5 for the same billing code.
And so it's very variable. And for me, I couldn't see how we could make a profit with this like limbo of whatever insurance is going to pay. Some are better than others.
Of course.
But it just, So it sucks because we turn away a large amount of people who are like, I can only use my insurance, which I get it. I have health insurance too.
Yes.
I want to use it.
Yes.
But you know, my clinic naturally caters towards the people who are willing to pay out of pocket for their services. But in turn, I've made it so that the quality of care they're getting is like above and beyond what they could imagine through insurance.
Which I think it's the core focus. If you're going to go see a doctor, if you're going to go see somebody that's going to help you, right? I want the best treatment. Because then why else am I going, right? Oh, I can go on about this. Like, let's not get sidetracked, but like, there's nothing that makes me more upset than going to see somebody to help me. And this just happened like 3 weeks ago. And they were like, okay, we're just going to give you this pill, right? And now I'm working with like a hormone coach. And she's like, oh, this is everything that's not working. I'm like, why couldn't they tell me that? Because they're not, right? They just give you something to put a Band-Aid over what's actually happening. And I think this is why I'm so passionate about this field and working with you guys in this, because I truly see how it transforms people's lives, like the whole ecosystem. Because as a person, we are not just, it's not just like, this is wrong and we're just going to do this area. Everything is interconnected, and it translates even to like your mental health, which then translates to how much money can I actually produce in a month. I'm not even kidding. Right? If you're in a state where you're like, the amount of stress is lowered, you can focus, you can think, everything else is going to become so much easier because you are now in a state where you can be disciplined and focused. But this is not going to happen if you have all these other things that are alarming your body, your state of being, your quality of life. And so I have seen, it's all interconnected, from how you feel to how you think to even how you show up and how much money you end up generating in your business.
Totally. And that's a really tough one in healthcare. We're doctors. We take an oath, we are always to act in the best interest of our patients.
100%.
But at the end of the day, we have bills to pay too. And we have profit to make. And it's hard as a healthcare provider because you just want to help everybody. And you want to be there and get people out of pain. But at the end of the day, if you're unable to pay for the service, our prices are set for a reason, like every provider in my office has a 4-year doctorate degree. They're dropping upwards of $200,000 on a degree, and people are like, why are your prices so high? And I'm like, listen, I get it. And it's San Diego. Come on. We're like infiltrated with amazing healthcare, holistic healthcare providers here. So you have to do something to set yourself apart from everybody else.
Point of difference, which for you guys is the way that you treat and how the quality of it, right?
Longer visits, individualized care, all-in pricing.
None
of this like add this here, add this there, and your price keeps going up. We have a few additional things, but
everything,
just you develop a relationship with your provider,
which is so important.
And the nice thing too is that because we get more time with our patients and we've structured it that way, if you don't vibe with a patient or vice versa, they don't like you, they kind of naturally see their way out of your clinic. So I haven't had to have very many scenarios of people not working out with us or being unhappy with care. And, now as the clinic owner and I have other providers underneath me, I'm always, trying to show face in the clinic to their patients also. A lot of people will come in the clinic, and if I'm working the front desk or something, they just, they're like, oh, hi, whatever. Like nobody actually has any idea that I'm the owner.
Which
I love, they see me around the clinic. And I'm not, flexing power by any means, but I want them to know that everyone's involved in their care, that they're not just a number in our clinic.
You really care.
And the thing is too, like the people who do take insurance and have these like quicker appointments and whatever.
Turn around.
No shade to them whatsoever. I really think that works for some people. Like I've talked to people who are like, I love my $40 membership where I can get adjusted once a week. It works really well for me. Phenomenal. Love that. Whatever works good for you. Yeah. But there are so many people out there too that are like, I can't do it. I need something more. Yeah. I need something different. Me. Yeah. I'm like, get to the core and treat me well. Because it's like, there's nothing I value more than my health. Because I've seen, right? You've seen it fall apart. Literally multiple times. So, okay, that's great. So I wanted to ask you a question. So the vision was, building out this clinic, right? From when we started, right, you and I together, to where we're at now, right? What have been, or what do you think were some of the biggest things that we were able to work on together that you've seen like, okay, yeah, this made a really big impact, right? Because we started and the Carbon Co. was just a concept, an office, and you were building it out. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That was like hit the ground, right? The Carbon Co. was messy before you. Really messy. And when I first named the business, the Carbon Collective, it was because the North Star goal was one day down the line, this is going to be a collective. Yes. But for 3 years, it was just me. Yes. And people were like, what's the collective? And I was like, it's coming. It's coming. Just give me a bit of time. But the name made no sense for so long. Yeah. So then when I got the clinic and I was building it out, I was like, okay, nobody teaches you how to run a business in chiropractic school. Yes. So it's like you're learning so many things on your own along the way. And I'm sure so many people have heard people say this, but like you should always have a coach, always somebody to lead you, to mentor you, whatever. Yeah. I had multiple business coaches before you, and they were also in the chiropractic field, and they worked really great for me for a time being. But then I was like, I need to get away from chiropractors. Yeah. The chiropractic coaches, they served their purpose for me so well when I was solo. And then I needed just business processes, like stuff that nobody could really teach me. And the unfortunate part is that my last coaches, we were building different clinics. Yeah. So where their expertise lied was in these high volume, maybe insurance-based clinics. And for what I was building, it didn't exist. Tailored, as far as I knew, as far as I could find. Yeah. So then you and your cute little face comes across my radar at an event. You're like, I'm a business coach. And I was like. And I remember you were so hesitant. You were like. Because I had a couple experiences with coaches that left me a little sour. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because you can be so good with a coach for a while, and then there can be just like one thing that sort of ends the relationship. And I remember thinking, I really need a coach that doesn't really know much about the actual chiropractic profession and is going to zoom out on this business and just look at business processes. Yeah. Because that is what nobody teaches you. Yeah. Let me tell you, they definitely don't teach you payroll in chiropractic school. How to run payroll, accounting, marketing. Definitely not marketing. Profits. Like a P&L. What is a P&L statement? They're just like, marketing, And retention rates. Literally. Like we can go on about retention for a long time. Sure. And I have a business degree. And so I remember in school, people being like, wow, you're going to be so better off at some point. And I was like, I'm falling behind in the first year of chiropractic school because my anatomy and physiology is almost non-existent. So I had all these kinesiology undergrads and stuff just blow me out of the water in anatomy class. But then, they were like, well, if you ever start something one day, well ahead of the curve. But I don't even know what I'm bringing from my undergrad into this. This has been... So back to what I said, it was messy. Like stuff was just all over the place. I was paying all these different people to do all these different things. Yes. And I wasn't even looking at the ins and outs of the business. I know. I was just kind of like teetering at this, like it's $6,000 to $8,000 months, which just me on my own, I was like, oh my God, is that enough? Like it was just, it was icky. Yeah. And right now you're sitting at 16K, right? Somewhere around those 16K months, which, I mean, there's always room for growth, right? But no, we're growing. Yeah, but I keep telling myself too, and this is probably, people always ask me, like, what's your advice for starting a business? And it's comical to me because I literally can't believe that people are asking me for advice, because every single day I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like flying by the seat of my pants. But my one piece of advice to people is to like zoom out on your business, like at least once a week or once a month, just kind of have like this big picture look at it.
Yeah. Which is what we do.
Which is, and I remind my friends to do it all the time, because I'm like, you got to look at where you've come. Because every day I'm like, I'm not doing enough. My business isn't making enough.
No.
I'm not helping my employees enough. And then I look back and I'm like, I opened this in February and we have, 5 employees already and consistently growing. So
exactly.
When I get on the calls with you and you stress me out, I have to zoom out.
But
you only stress me out because you're making me have a hard look at these things.
Yeah. So. I think I wouldn't do my job properly if we weren't actually looking at like what's actually happening, right? Mm-hmm. Because I think that coming from a consulting background, and my parents always had businesses, and really understanding, okay, yes, on the outside, it could look really good, but I'm going to make sure that everything is running well, right? Yeah. The inside behind the business is working, right? The systems are in place. The way that the operations are working, like everything is working. Like the business is making money. Like you are actually profitable. Like what is actually happening with marketing? Like, are we setting the right strategies, right? Mm-hmm. Are leads coming in? Are we following up with those leads? Like, how do we keep retention in the business? How do we create a business model that's going to be easier for you? Right? Because I don't want you to be working harder, right? There is a period where there's growth, which is, it was building the Carbon Co. It's putting the systems. It was bringing in people into it, right? It was bringing in the employees. It was bringing the people that were going to help you. But that's a stage of like growth. But now we need to make sure that it's balanced and that you're not burning out. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, how do we start delegating these things? How do we start creating and bringing in strategies that are going to help, right, grow that business faster, but you're not burning out? Because I think like a big part is like, how do we create room for your life to still happen, right? You didn't start a business just to do the business. You started a business because you wanted a certain lifestyle and you were so passionate about, this pain point, but you didn't do this just so you could burn yourself out and then some, right?
Yeah.
And so,
I saw somebody say the other day, you want to build a business, not a prison. And so you don't want to be so stuck in your business. And for me, I always joke all the time that like, I would love to not work. I'd love to be retired right now. I am an amazing lady of leisure. I love to travel. I love to go to the beach. If I didn't have to work, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create a business that I can eventually step away from more often.
And we're automating
and also,
it. Yeah.
and also create a space for other providers who are stuck in jobs that they hate. And they're trying to find that place where they love their job again.
Yes. So you love your life again.
Yeah. And flexibility is the biggest thing. And for me, I needed to leave my other locations and start my own thing because I only had so much flexibility in my schedule based on when my rooms were available to me.
Yes.
And so I already knew, like, before I even found my space, I was like, this is going to be my schedule. I already know what I want my weeks to look like.
Yeah.
And, being able to just block a day and go on a vacation is awesome.
It's important.
Now, obviously, starting a business, the front end is a grind. It's like down the line that you're seeing this like opportunity to be able to step out of it. But I was at a networking event the other day and this lady was like, so you started your business when? And I said February. And she's like, and you're already able to leave and go to Mexico for 6 days for a wedding. And it was like 4 months in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even think about it that way. She's like, that's pretty incredible that you've somehow already set this groundwork enough that you can switch off and go.
Yes.
And I think I only had to contact someone one time on my vacation, it was just.
Yeah.
And that's where those operations and systems come in. And people are always like, what is a system? Like, what is it that you're doing? It's just like, does everyone know their schedule? Does everyone know how to get in the door?
Yes.
Does everyone locking the door when they leave? Just like.
Yeah.
Teaching people. And when I built the clinic too, I was like, this is also for you guys. This is for these other providers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love being in there too, but I also love when you guys are in there and I don't have to be there.
Yeah.
So
it's so it runs well, right? And not even that, but like things like, scheduling, things like when there's a lead comes in, right? It's like, how are we following up with that lead? How are we making sure that, we're turning them to a client, to a patient, right? How are we making sure that everything in the clinic is working properly, right? Everyone knows their roles. Hey, these are the SOPs when you come in, right?
Yeah.
Like, these are the processes that we follow. This is how we treat a patient. This is the type of care that we give them. This is the relationships that we build. We have strategically done all of these things. A good business doesn't just happen. Like, we have curated every single part of that to making sure that, like, from the second that they step on that inside the clinic, right, to when they get out, every single touch point that patient is getting, we have intricately and like strategically designed it to be what they are experiencing and getting the care that they're needing, right?
Yeah.
It's, people don't see that.
It's very tailored towards the clinic, like if you have a business where most things can be automated, heck yeah, set up those automations and take your hands off of it. With my clinic, I've made a point to make it so that people feel like they get to talk to humans. So we've automated as much as we could and still kept that human aspect in it. 100%. So that they know, it's like they're still getting that like human connection when they come in. That's the nature of my business. I can imagine there's some businesses out there where you can just set it up, work hard on the front end and kind of let it do its thing. But I think what's really cool about your service with coaching is that you have all these materials and things for us that you can then break down and cater so intricately to that specific business.
I think that, if I can say that, I think that's a point of difference. Like, they always teach you as a coach, like, in order to scale, you need to make it, serve. But what I have really seen that has moved the needle with your guys' business is when I'm sitting down and I'm really looking at, this is what this specific business is needing, right? That I think is so important, because there are many things, right, that I send you that other ones of my clients are getting the same things, right? Because these are the basics. But like, when it comes to like that one-on-one thing that we really need to hone down in, like, that's very specific to your business, that's what really moves the needle in any business. So I don't know how else. Because you can join a group call, you could do those things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to like the very intricate problems, and when we're breaking down, okay, what was the profit this month? What was it that we need to adjust? What are the main goals? Like, those things could never be a group thing when it's so intricate to you and what we're wanting to get to.
And I'm very much so a person who wants her hand held through a lot of those things. Like, if you're like, hey, here's your deadline, do this, it's probably not going to happen, You're like, here's this week, here's your task. That's how that's the thing. And that's it. Or if you were like, make a script on how to sell a package. I'd be like, which going to chat GPT AI. But you're like, here's your script. This is what you're going to say. Which is, and it's so catered to, I was like, okay, here we go. I can just like slide this over the front desk staff, or like, it helps learn it myself.
Exactly.
And not like the overwhelm of throwing everything. This is such a process, opening a business. You can't just like have everything like magically working so perfectly. It's like every week I'm like, okay, the fire's out there. We can work on this. Now we can go to here. Oh, the ads aren't working anymore. Okay, we'll get to that. Back over here. It's like, what my to-do list is never ending. I swear to God, I never cleared it. It's always there. But the priorities on it kind of shift throughout the week. And you're like, no. This is the priority this week. Like, you've got to do this. And I mean, obviously there's always going to be like more pressing things with time, but there's just a lot to think about. And being a solo business owner. I don't know if people
and you don't have, okay, let's just put it here, right? You don't have like a partner who you're like bouncing this, like, and I think that also, like, as a woman in business, yes, we could do everything, right? But having that support, right? Like, hey, I don't know about this. What do you think about this? Like, that is so helpful. I have that person. It's like everybody needs that. like to bounce those thoughts and actually make the right decisions, right? Because I remember we were talking about even today, right? Is this a better strategy?
Yeah.
It's going to cost me a little bit more, but what is it going to bring?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Into my business.
Totally. And I mean, I've been to so many networking events, and some of my favorite ones are the women one. The one that women entrepreneurs are coming together, because you hear this all the time. Women, maybe men too. I don't know. I guess I schmooze more with other women business owners, but everybody says owning a business and entrepreneurship can be so lonely, but it doesn't have to be, you know? So it's like, you have to go and find these people, but once you find them, and I mean, I moved to San Diego not knowing a single soul here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm moving to a city. I don't even have a single friend here, let alone a community. And I'm just going to start this business out of nowhere. Like, you have to grind to not only make that community for the business, but also for yourself. Yeah. And some of my best friends have come from women's networking events, because it's like there's something about that camaraderie of owning a business.
And you know
the feeling. It's like, oh, you didn't respond to my text for 4 days. No big deal. I know you're probably really swamped right now. Hey, just checking in. You need any help somewhere, you know? And and the networking events are where I found most of my support in terms of like, I found a marketer there. I found a social media person there. Everybody kind of has their thing. Yeah. And then you start all using
each other's services. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And it's it's very unique about the culture here that in San Diego, but you know, obviously it's different elsewhere, but for us, I think that that's something that I see a lot, small to medium-sized business owners, right? Coming together, and we are so passionate about using each other's businesses and services because we understand. Yeah. And that's a big part, you know, of being a business coach. Like, I understand the pain points. It's not just, you know, rainbows and butterflies.
No.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
Which is fine. This is why we do what we do.
Right?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, when I was thinking about opening this multidisciplinary clinic, I talked to somebody and they were like, you just can't do this on your own. You need a partner. Yes. And I was like, bet.
Yes.
Okay. You say that to me and it just fuels my fire. I was like, well, watch me.
I can do it.
You know, and of course you're in it and you're like, why am I doing this on my own?
But you're not.
Well, and the thing is that I'm sure people are like, I can't start a business because I don't have a partner. Well, I'll tell you that you absolutely can.
Yes, you can.
But of course, would things be easier with a partner? Another person to bounce stuff off of, or just another person, hey, can you go to the clinic? I need someone to do this or whatever. Yeah, there'd be so many times that would be easier. Yeah. But first of all, I hadn't found anybody that I was willing to open a business with. You got to have a pretty good, and I mean, I'm sure everyone even listening can think of someone they know who's had a relationship be so ruined by running business 100%. Together. You know, they say don't go into business with family and friends and this and that. Yeah. And even opening my clinic and working with either acquaintances or friends or people for services within the clinic, there's even some of those relationships get tainted. Business is tough that way. So I was just like, you know what, I need to be in full control. Yeah. I might be a bit of a control freak, but I was like, I need to be in full control of all these decisions. Yes, this is going to be a lot harder on my own. But at the end of the day, the decision comes back on me. Yeah. Which is super overwhelming at times. Yeah. Having to make all those decisions yourself can be a lot, but that's where the coaching comes in, you know?
That's right.
And that's what why I really love working with you, is because I'd be like, okay, this is a decision I'm trying to make, and my chiropractic brain is thinking this way, and then your business brain is like, nah. You're looking at this from a healthcare perspective. Let's zoom out, look at it like a business. Yeah. Which is what I needed, because a lot of times we get so, you know, caught up in
and what we're doing.
Yeah. Like, oh, I don't want to sell packages because it makes me feel like I'm pushing a package on a patient. And you're like, no. Yeah. You're selling them this amazing service. This is why you do it, you know? And you're like,
they need this care.
Yeah.
They need the plan.
The different perspective is everything.
Right.
On that.
And I think when we were talking about taking away some of the, because I remember you're like, I don't want to push things upon people. And I'm like, I don't want to push anything upon anybody. Yeah. Right. But it's what we were saying, like people are needing these services, right? So if you're going to be the best one to give it to them, why not actually give them what they're needing? I'm a firm believer of that, right? Like they have put sailing as this like bad sales. It's like a sale is just a transaction of like, what do you need and what can I provide for you? And can I be the best one to provide that for you?
Yeah.
If it's a yes, then do it. That's what I always go back to, right? And I think that's why I started looking at business so different, where I started, you know, even when I started, I was like, business coach, I was like, oh, like I was like a consultant, right? Like, but in reality was like my audience, I didn't want to scare you guys off. Basically, I'm this big fancy consultant. You wouldn't have shown me the back end of things, right? It wouldn't have been the same relationship. And so it's like adjusting to these things and rewiring the way that we think about the businesses that we're building and how we're showing up for the patients, for our clients, right? How are we showing up to give them the best service in what we do?
Yeah.
And so,
definitely. And I think when you can get past your imposter syndrome, which I'm sure we all have all the time, I still have it. I mean, I'm almost 4 years into practice and
you're great.
I have imposter syndrome about the service that I provide. But, you know, once you can get past that and you believe in the quality of care that you're giving people or the quality of your coaching or whatever, that's when you're like, I don't feel bad selling this to you because I know that it's a good service.
Yes.
Now, if you maybe didn't believe in that and it felt more like slimy or scuzzy to you selling it, maybe there's something that people need to rework within their business to make that feel better. Because like for you, I can tell that you're like, this is my service. You need it. This is how I can help you. Take it or leave it. But I'm going to follow up with you every 2 weeks just until you give me a decision.
Pause. But the thing is, I think it's because I saw how I could actually genuinely help you, right? And I saw like, I think it actually took a lot of work, inner work, and a lot of work that, you know, we do. It's that mindset thing, right? You're not just grow because you think that, okay, I'm just going to grow. Like you grow through things that you've gone through. And I believe like my journey and everything that I went through is why when I sit here, you know, I'm like, this is what we can do. This is how I can help you. Let's do it. I genuinely know that I can be the person that can help bring that. And so I think that we all go through that process. And I think coaching is one of those things where it's like, why do you think this way? And I remember us addressing that. It's like, why do you feel like an imposter? Like, what is it? Why do you feel bad? And like getting to the core and being like, let's rework that. Let's rethink the way that you're thinking about your service and how you serve people. Because I think that changed everything. I remember there was so much resistance. And then all of a sudden you were like, okay, I'm doing this. You're right. And you were able to step up into, you know, the business owner that you are in the leader that you are in the practice. And so I think that we all go through a process to get to where we are, right? And I think that because I had to, you know, I used to work in these big corporate rooms and everybody around me was way older than I was, you know, male, white, and I love me a white male man, you know, like nothing wrong with that. Like, let's just be honest, but stepping into these rooms and being the one that was leading these rooms and just being like, God help me, because I knew everything that came with it. But that actually built resilience within me. And it helped me see what were the pain points that if I was feeling this, surely my clients were going to feel it too. And so now we can address that, the core of that and get to, you know, how do we actually change it so it's better, so we're better off. Yeah.
And people can feel that, like, you know, that gut feeling that we all talk about if we actually listen to it more, which is like something that I've learned over the years. You know, the first business coach that I signed on with, they were expensive. You know, it was like you had to commit to 4 months, $10,000.
Whoa.
And I remember having this like weird feeling in my stomach. And he was just such a good sales guy. And there was this like pit in my stomach. I was like, man, I really hope this works. And at the end of the day, it was a $10,000 mistake. You know, and that was like my first big whoopsie in business. And I was like, okay, going forward, we're going to like vet this process better and like truly trust like what my body was telling me, which sounds, I mean, I know we're getting into the woo here, but when it comes to business, there is a certain aspect of like head and heart in it, you know, like what your body's telling you, what your head's telling you to do. And so that's where, you know, when you make a connection with a coach, whether they're in person or not, we were lucky that we met physically in person because we are local to each other. But even, you know, a virtual call with somebody, you're going to feel some type of something over the phone or over the computer. And I think if you have any reservations about signing on with somebody, it's just not it.
Yeah. You know.
It's the same thing in chiropractic, you know? You can have a patient walk through the door and you can know right away that maybe this is going to vibe or it won't.
Yeah.
Or they slowly warm up to you or whatever it may be. But it
Go
definitely ahead. Like you know when you make that connection with a coach.
Yeah.
And I mean, coaching is such a big buzzword right now everywhere. Everyone's a coach.
That's why like I was like, you know, as a consultant, that's why I was like, but I understood that removing the barrier, right, was important. And what I've seen is actually, you know, connecting with my target audience, connecting with the women, you know, and I do have some, you know, male clients, but that's okay. Like most of my audience are women, and connecting with them and really being like, okay, can I actually help you? Right. There's been some calls where I'm like, no, this business model doesn't make sense. Which is why you do
those discovery calls, right? It's like, you have to also want to work with the person. It's the same thing in chiropractic. You know, if it's like, I just don't think, I can't tell you how many times I have sent a patient from my care over to my other chiropractor's care. And I specifically, now I wasn't turning away women by any means, but I brought in a male chiropractor because the way we treat is so similar, and yet our technique and our hands and everything can feel so different. It's amazing because you get a patient in who's maybe like bigger than me or harder to adjust or whatever. I have another option for them. Oh, if it's not me, it's them, you know? So there's always like somebody else to have that option.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to ask you, what has been a big win lately with Carb & Co. that you're really proud of?
I guess just building the team. I think for me, I was like very stressed about, okay, now I've got this space and now I need the people. And I had this vision of it being this like really high standard of care, you know, like I was like, Carb & Co is going to be a household name in San Diego. People are going to know about it, but we've got to have the right people. People aren't going to come back if they're like, man, that was just all right. And my physical therapist and my other chiropractor, they came to me. They were sent to me by other people. I didn't have to interview them or find them. And I think that was the biggest thing is I was like, okay, I created a space where people want to be in here. They can see that there's like a standard of care, and they're like, I can see myself growing there. That was a big thing for me too, is I was like, I'm not here to just make a bunch of profit off of you. I'm here to create this clinic for the patients, and I need the most like passionate people to be in there. And I mean, you find a healthcare provider who's unhappy in their current clinic and give them the opportunity to build their practice up here, give them the space to do it, give them freedom. You know, I'm like, I'm not going to tell you how to treat. You're a doctor. You know what to do. You went to school. And like the thing with the chiro PT too, is that, you know, we know she knows what she's good at and I know what I'm good at. And our other chiro knows what he's good at. And we know when to send to each other. So I think my biggest win truly is like just having somehow miraculously attracted these like wicked people.
But it's a big part of like your branding, the space, the design, like the way that your message comes across. Like it's not so, you know, wow, how did this happen? I think like who you are as a person, the quality, but then your message, how you portray yourself on like online, your social media, you know, the business model, like there's so many things that are in place that would naturally attract the person that you were looking for. And so that's just something, you know, that I love about the businesses that I help build, that like you guys are genuinely like quality, right? There's quality in what you're doing, and everything shows, like from the second that somebody comes into the clinic to the treatment to the way that, like, you know, the branding, the images, like everything is quality. And so it's people that are looking for that will align because that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. And I mean, hiring is hard.
Yeah.
Finding people is so hard because you're
through.
trying to, at the end of the day, I hear this saying all the time, nobody's going to love your business as much as you do.
Yeah.
And so to find somebody who's willing to like uphold that brand and that image is huge. They have to essentially be bought into your business just as much as you are.
Yeah.
And so you have to like reward them, you know,
100%.
They have to see the potential there too.
Yeah.
And so I tell them all the time, like, if something's not working, you got to tell me.
Tell me.
Because
Tell me about
I'm
it.
not here to just boss you around.
That's right.
I'm here to see their practices grow too. But yeah, I feel really grateful that, you know, the right people are kind of finding their, and it's the same with patients. Like I say this all the time. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, yes, I run paid ads and we target certain, you know, markets, but at the same time, it's like you get these people who gravitate towards you and they're like wicked patients,
100%.
like loyal. They love your care.
Yeah.
They see the value in it. They're telling all their friends. And I'm like, more of those. Like I could probably name, you know, 5 or 6 people off the top of my head. And I'm like, I need more of them. Give me all those types of patients.
Yeah.
And the ones that, you know, don't work out kind of see their way out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay.
Which is great. Yeah. I think it's just like this natural
transition.
Yeah. And like, you know, it's like you walk into a business, you're like, oh, that was okay, but I probably won't go back.
Yeah.
And it's just like this natural part of,
business.
You know, customer and business and like that kind of stuff.
Before we go, I wanted to ask you, what are you focusing next as we are scaling this business? Like what's next for you in this and what are some of the big goals? For these next 6 months, year, 3 years.
Yeah. I mean,
different,
I feel like I see really far down the line more than the stuff up close, which I know they say to sort of like enjoy that journey while you get to it. But I see Carbon Co having multiple locations.
Same.
I'd like to help, you know, there's so many people who don't have like the financial investment to start something from the ground up on their own. And if I can even just say like, do you want, you know, does my other chiro or my PT want to go start their own thing? They can be kind of under the Carbon Co umbrella, but sort of give them, you know, I can be more hands off and they can, you know, start that clinic with the help of, you know, the brand behind them.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, multiple locations would be cool for sure. I mean, within the next year, I think we have a few more people to add to the team.
Yes.
You know, we're looking for another couple services, just steady flow of patients. Like people think when you start a healthcare business, really any business, that like the business is just going to appear, meaning like the people are just going to come. Like the last space that I worked in, the owners, amazing people, they were just like, okay, so what? You go build out a 3,000 square foot space and then what? You think people are just going to flock to you? Like, how are they going to know about you?
Yeah.
And so that was what made me like take a step backwards and be like, okay, baby steps.
That's right.
You got to like get there. So I think for me right now, I'm baby stepping my way towards that. But one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
I'm a very like down the line, I'm going to do this. And it's like, okay, well, how are you going to get there?
Yeah.
Like you have to go through the steps, I guess. And I am not that kind of person. I'm impatient.
Yeah. But that's when we connected and that's when we started working together. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like that's where you were at. You were like, this is what I want, right? And you're a doer. But you were like, I have no idea how this is all going to happen. And I was like, perfect. That's what I do, right?
Yeah.
And so putting it together and then making sure that everything that you needed was put in place, I think that's really what's helped create this kind of like automated ecosystem, right? Because there's automations in the business with most of the things that we can, we've automated them. But there's also an automated ecosystem where every system, everything that we've done can now run like well on its own. Yeah. And so bringing that to another business.
I mean, I've told people this since I started, because a lot of business owners, when they first start, they don't have money. And so they're like, I have to do everything. And I saw it as, there's a book out there called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And the whole book is literally like just driving home this point over and over and over again. If you are working in every single aspect of your business, all those little aspects are not getting your full potential.
Yes.
So find where your expertise lies, and then find the person who's the best at that job. Find the marketer, find the accountant, find the payroll person, find the cleaner. I don't even clean my own clinic. I'm like, I don't have time for this. It makes more sense to me to pay for somebody to do something and free up my time 100%. So that I can, and then I'm avoiding the burnout too. So I've always been the type of person who's like, I'll just pay it. It's worth the money to get somebody else to do it. But I know as like somebody who might be starting a business, they see that as like, oh my God, that's another expense. That's more money of the account. What do I do?
Right.
But in the end, you hope that creates more profit. Right.
Which is working in your area of genius, right? That's what they call it.
Yeah.
But it's also, as a business, we also pay really high taxes, right? And so all of the expenses that we do and we need to, occur or whatever, then put those expenses under that. Yeah. Because you're going to have to pay this huge tax bill. So you might as well take advantage of these things. Of course, you're like, yeah, it's not, the math is not just like that. It's not that simple, right? I need to bring in more profit. Yeah. But it is, I think working with somebody that's going to help you scale that. You scale your income, scale the profit of the business to then being able to do these things. So it's like working smarter, not harder. Yeah. Really.
Yeah. There's also another book by the same author called 10X is Easier Than 2X.
Yeah.
And it's just talking about how actually a 10X jump should in theory be easier than a 2X jump because you're making these like little baby jumps doing all these things. When if you can free up with your right who's, free up some of your time, you get that time back to make that leap.
100%.
So yeah, the people are the biggest thing for sure. Yeah. And then like looking into those, like, I don't know, people are calling them like quantum leaps, which I think is awesome. But I can see like the middle is muddy, it's unclear kind of how you're going to get there. Yeah. But you're like, I can see what I want and I can see what my life looks like, especially as women. Like, I love that you can be like, what do you want out of your life? Do you want to have babies? Yeah. Like, do you want to start a family? Yeah. It's one thing for a male to be like, I want kids. It's another thing for a female to be like, I have to change my whole life, 100%. Not only to grow a child, but, bring kids into this world, which I think it messes with your mind so much because you essentially have to leave an identity of one thing and go to another. And I think that if women are out there being like, should I start a business? Like, yes, it's hard, but the freedom of that, I've seen so many women start families and they have their own business and then they get this like, I just taken 3 months out of my business so I can, raise my kid. Yeah.
But they can't.
And like, personally, I'm not somebody who is dying to have children by any means, but I love to travel. I'm the antsiest person ever. I'm always gone. Like every other weekend I'm somewhere. Yes. And so for me, it was like some women start businesses to have freedom to start families.
Me?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I started a business to have freedom to travel.
That's right.
I'm like, I want to go to Japan and I want to go to this music festival and I'm never going to miss any of my friends' weddings. Yeah. I'll be there for all of that kind of stuff because I've built this business around this life that I see. It's hard sometimes for sure. Yeah. Like for a long time, I traveled with 2 phones all the time because I had a work phone and my personal phone. Of course. And I remember thinking one day, I'm going to hand this phone to a front desk staff when I have it. And I remember the day I handed it to her and I was like, all yours. Yes. I'm not even going to touch it. Yes. You check it all the time. And I was like, I barely look at the clinic phone anymore. And I've had that phone forever. It used to be attached to me. Yeah. And I'm like, here you go.
That's right. It's putting the hard work up front to then get the reward, right? But what I've seen, and I think that this is the point that I want to, drive home and close it out. But what I've seen is you have to find the right people, put the right systems in place. The iceberg, right? Yeah. Do right. It's going to be a season of you're going to be grinding it out, right? Working it, right? But then once you have the right structure and the right things, you will reap the reward of this part, right? And so it's like it's having that vision and then having the discipline to go through with it, but then having the right people to help you build that so you can build it right, and you can actually lessen the time that is gonna, like, lessening the time. I don't think people see how much of a reward that is like, yeah, it may cost you X amount, right?
Yeah.
And it may seem really expensive, but in 4 months you were able to go take a holiday. Right? It's like, then that should have maybe like would have taken you, you know, a year or 2 years, but now we're lessening that because it's making you more money at the end of the day.
Yeah. And there's just like no playbook, you know, nobody's business has this like perfect playbook to figure it out, and nobody's really there to like tell you how to navigate that. So I mean, honestly, on my way over here, I was like, I find it comical that I'm going to sit on this podcast and talk about the success of my business, because when you're in it, you're like, no, we're falling short. We're not making enough money. We're doing all these things. There's, like, it just feels like chaos. Yeah. But like I said before, like if you can zoom out and look at it, people are like, what do you do to do this and that? And I'm like, oh my God, why are you asking me? What do I know? But then I look at it and they're like, well, you know, we have this thing and it's running and it's working.
It's working well.
So do I consider myself an expert on it? Absolutely not.
Thank you.
But that's why I have a coach. You know?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Erin, for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
This was so good. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on the next one. Bye now.
Multiple.